Hello, listeners. My name is Professor Abdontes Finch, and welcome to the Nightmare Trials.
It was Friday morning in October, the Friday before Halloween to be exact. I woke up jazzed. I loved Halloween. It was my junior year of high school, and after petitioning the school board, they finally let us wear costumes to school. A bunch of students had complained because elementary school kids could wear costumes with stipulations, but high school, that was a solid no. I assume it's because they didn't want to deal with what was appropriate or inappropriate. But if third graders can handle it, so could we, right? So, the rules were no masks, no face paint, no weapons, and the regular dress code rules still applied. Oh, and nothing obscene or curse words on clothes, blah 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 blah. So, following all the rules, my friend Ben and I decided we were going as Dragon Ball Z characters. I was going to go as Goku, and he was going to go as Piccolo. Classic. And I'm sure by now you guessed, we aren't the most popular kids at school, but it's fine. People will be dressed up as other nerdy things too. Which, to be clear, Dragon Ball Z isn't nerdy, just the rest of the school might think it is. Plus, the students fought for this day, so I won't be the only dork dressed up. I looked at myself in the mirror. Orange jumpsuit, check. Black wig, check. Headband, check. Alright, let's do this. On the way into school, I noticed some walkers weren't in costume. But I figured, well, it would suck to walk to school in a costume, so maybe they'll change once I get to school. Then I got really worried when I pulled into the school parking lot and I saw no other students in costumes there either. Began to think to myself, band get placed back on costumes? I mean, everyone wanted costumes. The whole cheerleading squad and football team showed up in costume at the board meeting just to show they could pick appropriate costumes. I needed to find Ben and see what was going on. I remembered the bright orange jumpsuit and black wig of hair sticking up 3 inches off my head. It's weird how silly you feel in a costume when no one else is dressed up. There was nothing I could do about the orange jumpsuit, but I decided to take the wig off. I shoved it in my bag and sent Ben a text. Dude, you have to meet me in the commons, and please tell me you are dressed up today. I tried to briskly walk across the parking lot fast enough to get the hell inside without drawing a lot of attention to myself. But my mission failed. I heard someone call out, "Nice outfit, pumpkin." There go my cool points. I saw eyes watching me as I made my way through the school's halls and to the commons area. Ben has texted me back.
Dress up? Like what, for a date?
He must be joking. I scanned the faces around me for Ben in the comments. He was 6'2", almost a head taller than me, so I spotted him by the vending machines immediately. And his eyes widened as soon as he saw me. I was a hard miss.
Dude, what are you wearing?
A costume, a Halloween costume that we agreed on wearing. You said you were going as Piccolo, but why aren't you in costume? The hell, man, I look like a damn idiot.
Yeah, you do.
Seriously, where is everyone's costumes? Did the school board change their minds or something?
I have no idea what you're talking about. The school board costumes? Did you hit your head or something?
Is this some massive prank? A big Halloween joke on me? But how? And what was the point? I was at the meeting and I saw everybody there. That all wouldn't be set up just for me. Seriously, man, no more fucking around. Where are their Halloween costumes?
The Halloween costumes?
Halloween. Stop fucking with me, I said as I pushed his shoulder. I was starting to get pissed. This made no sense and I felt stupid and I wanted some answers.
Hey, chill out. Don't push me.
He pushed me back on my shoulder. I grabbed the front of his shirt and looked up at him. What is going on? Why are you fucking with me?
Let go of me.
He yelled as he pushed me away. The frustration of the morning just let loose then. I ran at him and shoved him against the vending machine. I must have been crazy to pick a fight with Ben. He was the wrestling team captain who has been kicking my ass since we were kids. People around us started to notice the fight and gathered around in a makeshift ring. Cell phones were out and the infamous chant started up. Fight, 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 fight. Ben had me in a headlock in seconds, and teachers swarmed in immediately after, and then separated us.
What the hell, Kyle? You're crazy. You need to chill out.
I was taken down to the office, and I was dreading the sequence of events that I knew were coming. I'd have to go talk to the counselor, and then they would call my mom. This stupid fight was going to ruin the whole weekend, the whole Halloween holiday. Me and the guys were supposed to go to the haunted houses tomorrow night. No way in hell my mom was going to let that happen now. I sat in the dimly lit office across from Miss Waters, the school counselor. I talked to her a few times in the past, but really didn't know her.
So, Kyle, why don't you tell me what happened this morning?
She took off her glasses and placed them on her desk as she looked up and down at my costume. Well, I guess it's stupid, really. It's just obvious I wore a Halloween costume today because I thought we could. I thought the school board changed their mind and said costumes were okay, but just not like the scary ones with weapons.
Weapons?
Yeah, like no knives or bats or axes or anything. Concern swept over her face. Fake ones, obviously, I quickly added. But Ben and I agreed to dress up for Halloween, and he didn't dress up. And now look at me. I'm wearing a bright orange jumpsuit, and everyone is staring at me. Why is no one else in costumes?
In a Halloween costume. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Halloween.
And can you tell me what a Halloween costume is?
What the fuck is she talking about? Is she playing dumb? Is this a mind game? I really don't know how to answer her. Well, I began, deciding to explain it like she's 5. Halloween is a holiday celebrated on October 31st, which is tomorrow. And people dress up as characters or monsters or whatever for fun. And kids dress up as superheroes and princesses on Halloween night and walk around the neighborhood and knock on people's doors. And then those people give them candy. I thought to myself internally, yeah, that's a good explanation. She just stared at me. When did she last blink? My God. She clasped her hands together on top of her desk and leaned forward.
Okay, Kyle. So Halloween is a holiday to dress up as monsters, you said. And children go to strangers' houses at night and knock on doors, begging for candy? Is that right?
I shook my head in disbelief. This isn't happening. She has never heard of Halloween. She what, fucking Amish? Jehovah's Witness? She just fucking with me too, like everyone else? What scenario is Ben, the counselor, and the whole school fucking with me? It has to be me. This has to be a dream or something. It's Halloween. Michael Myers, Ghost-faced, Freddy Krueger, zombies, carving pumpkins, haunted houses, Hallow-fucking-ween.
Listen, we called your mom and she is headed to pick you up. However, you have said some things that are very concerning to me for your safety and the safety of others. We just want to make sure you feel safe. Get the help you need. So I'm going to recommend a trip to the hospital. Just to talk.
Hospital? I'm going to the hospital for wearing a costume? This is beyond ridiculous. She opened the door of the office, and there she was, my mother, waiting. She looked so mad. Miss Waters talked to her quietly, and I watched my mom's face go from angry to concern. She even started to look scared. I just knew that the counselor had just told her to take me to the loony bin. My mom and I sat in silence the whole ride. I don't think either of us knew where to start, honestly. We pulled into the hospital, which was by the park and the library. I'd seen the building before, but never thought anything of it. And I knew that Fighting this whole hospital visit and throwing a fit and getting out of control would only make things worse. So I decided I would just talk this through with whoever I needed to. Everything would be fine.
Kyle Murphy?
My mom stayed in the waiting room, but gave me a hug before I went to him. In the room were two small brown leather couches facing each other. I followed the balding man in and picked the couch to sit on as he shut the door behind us. I really hope he didn't expect me to lay down. I didn't want to do that.
Hello, Kyle. My name is Dr. Stern. So it's been quite a day for you, huh?
Sure, you could say that.
Well, I just got off the phone with Miss Waters at your school, and she just had some concerns, which is why you are here now. But I'd like to give you a fresh start. Just tell me about your day today.
Went over the details of the day, costume, the fight, the counselor conversation. I guess I'm just confused. No one seems to know what Halloween is. It's like I'm speaking another language.
Well, you said Halloween is a holiday, right? So tell me about your Halloween. What does it mean to you?
He had a notepad balanced on top of his crossed knees, taking notes as I spoke. I don't know like the full history or anything, but usually Halloween is like a whole season of activities, like people carving pumpkins.
And what do you carve them into?
Scary faces, just whatever they want. Some are super creative.
Okay, go on.
And people like to watch scary movies with killers and monsters.
Why don't you tell me about those?
I tried to hide the annoyance on my face. And I really didn't want to have to try to explain spooky season to a grown adult. But refusing to talk would get me nowhere. Okay, so there are a lot of movies about zombies. I paused to look at his face to see if he seemed to even know what a zombie was. Which, I begrudgingly continued, is a dead person that comes back to life and eats people. Like it's not real, it's just like a movie and stories.
Now that does sound pretty scary.
Well, yeah, that's the point. And there's also vampires that suck people's blood and serial killers.
Serial killers?
Yeah, they have tons of movies about them. Ghostface, Michael Myers, and we get kind of supernatural with Jason Voorhees and Freddy.
And can you tell me more about this Freddy character?
Yeah, his movies are called Nightmare on Elm Street, and he's like a burnt up guy, and he has these knives on his hands. He haunts people in their dreams.
Does he haunt your dreams?
What? No, it's just a movie.
All right. So these movies are about monsters and killers eating people and killing people. You think of that often?
No, I meant only during Halloween. I mean, it's kind of everywhere. I could hear myself explaining everything now. If no one truly knows what I'm talking about, I sound insane. Like a madman.
And the killing and scary stuff is entertaining to you.
Yeah, it's not just me, man. Like everyone. I mean, maybe not old people, and it's not for like little kids, but yeah, lots of people like Halloween, scary movies, haunted houses.
Tell me about these haunted houses. What haunts them?
I'm going to jump out of my fucking skin. What haunts them? Ghosts, dude. Ghost, haunted houses.
You mean the spirits of dead people?
Yes, that, ghosts. Thank God someone understands.
Yes, I have heard of the term ghost before, back when I was a kid. There was a cartoon called Casper, the Friendly Ghost. Is it like that?
Casper? Really? I mean, okay. Casper is at least better than nothing. Some people believe in ghosts, some people don't, so I'm not fighting this one. This isn't the issue. The issue is that I woke up today and Halloween doesn't seem to exist. Like I'm in some other timeline or something, where it just didn't catch on. I feel like I'm in a nightmare, but the tamest nightmare ever. A nightmare with literally no monsters or anything scary at all. Let me ask you this, Doc. What do you think is a scary movie? What do you watch?
Well, I don't watch scary movies, really, but I'm familiar with some. I would say A Dog's Purpose.
How is that scary? There was a long, pregnant pause between us.
Kyle, based on our conversation today, I'd like to have you stay overnight with us.
What? Overnight? Like a patient? Like a fucking crazy person?
We don't use that term, crazy. This obsession with death and killing needs to be addressed.
Doctor, it's not an obsession with death and killing. If anything, it's an obsession with Halloween.
Well, your obsession with Halloween is unhealthy. It is my professional recommendation that you need to get some medical help.
Listen, this morning I woke up normal. And now this is making me crazy. You are making me crazy. I got out of my chair and went for the door. I'm out of here, Doc. I ran down the hall when I heard the doctor yelling right at me. Mom! I called out. Mom, let's go. Chimian grabbed me before I got to the waiting room. I could see my mom through the glass door. She was worried and crying. I tried pulling away from the men, but they were just too strong. They lifted me off the ground and took me backwards down the hall. I could hear my mom screaming. I took a right turn and went through some double doors. Everything was suddenly so bright white. Fluorescent lighting, white tile flooring, white walls, and rows of white doors down one wall.
Kyle, now we are going to put you in this room just for the night.
I started struggling against the two men, fighting and yelling, "Let me go!" Then I felt a sharp pang in my neck. The whiteness dimmed down, and I could feel the heaviness of the sedation drug take over me. I woke up the next day in a white padded cell. I had been changed out of my Dragon Ball Z costume, and into a hospital gown. The room was completely empty beside my bed, and the room was so small. I could probably lay out on the floor with my arms outstretched and reach both sides. Then my memory started coming back to me. I thought about the previous day. I thought about the fight with Den, talking with the counselor and the doctor. It just didn't seem real. I really was ready to wake up from this nightmare. Is Halloween just not real? None of my memories going to the pumpkin patch, the hayrides, and the corn maze when I was little were real? When Ben and I went trick-or-treating as Mario and Luigi when we were 10, was that not real? I can remember my first haunted house in 6th grade. I was in the back of the group, and a killer clown chased after me, laughing maniacally. I'd freaked out and punched him straight in the nose. A natural reaction, but a bit extreme, and I'll never forget what he said to me. He told me to fuck off and called me a little punk. I mean, after it was all said and done, I remember telling my friends, and we laughed about it for so long. Sat there and smiled at that memory. All the B-list zombie movies and the shitty remakes of vampire movies, they had to be real. I loved being scared. Not like this. This was a new type of scared. It's made me question everything, and there was no way I could have made this all up. If for God's sake I have a poster in my room of Chucky and all my Halloween DVDs, I've been watching them all month. That's it. My poster, my DVDs, they're all evidence. They are physical items in my room. I can show them to everyone and wake them all up or something. Bring back everyone's memories. I needed to get my message out so someone could help me. Right there in that mental hospital, I decided I was going to save Halloween. I remembered the layout of the hall and how to get back to the lobby where I'd last seen my mom. I knew that there was a way outside from that lobby. Going to have to just make a break for it somehow. There was a small window on my door. I looked out of it and into the open room to the desk area where the receptionist sat. I started knocking on the window. Hey, I really need to use the bathroom. The receptionist turned to the guard and gestured for him to come and open my door. Hey man, I am so sorry, but I really have to go.
Listen, kid, you're gonna need to wait for the nurse to make her rounds.
No way in hell, man. I'm totally not gonna make it. The guard looked at me, annoyed.
Alright, let's just make it quick.
I walked out of my room and looked at the double doors to the left. There was a keypad on the wall. Shit. I don't know the code. Followed behind the guard slowly, but in space gathered between us. Then a miracle happened. The receptionist got up and left her desk. As she did, her cardigan got stuck on the arm of her chair. As she walked away, she stumbled forward and fell.
Ooh!
The guard, hearing the noise, immediately turned around and went to go help her, just as I heard the clicks of the door open. This was my moment. I ran towards the opening doors, pushing past a nurse who was looking down on her clipboard. I heard commotion behind me. Then I heard the calling out of a runaway as I made it down the hall into the lobby. Clad only in my hospital gown and bare feet, I made my way out of the door and into the parking lot. The world erupted around me, and I could hear the faint noises of sirens going off back in the building behind me. I tried to catch my bearings as I panicked to figure out my next move. How could I make it home from here? Sirens were going off and people were for sure going to come after me. I looked across the parking lot and I saw a large group of people in the next lot over. The new library. They were opening that today. I could see camera crews and city officials outside of the front door. If I wasn't crazy before, I sure am crazy now. With no time to think anything through, I dashed off towards the crowd. There were people, there were cameras. I had to get my message out. I cannot be the only one who remembers Halloween. I had no time to make my half-assed plan work as I heard yelling behind me. Some people in the crowd turned my way as I got closer to the lot. I ran right up to the mayor and all the other fancy dressed-up people where I knew the cameras would be pointed. Lots of grumbles and concerned calls. Someone said, "Hey, you can't be up here." I stared out at all the people, hospital gown blowing in the wind. Everyone listen. Today is October 31st, and it is Halloween. Halloween is a holiday we used to all celebrate. It was fun and scary, and I just miss it. You have to remember the scary movies of the undead zombies and vampires. They aren't real, but sometimes it's fun to pretend, and it's a wonderful break from this world. Halloween is one night a year. You can dress up and be whatever it is you want to be. And as a kid, it is the biggest night of the year. A night to knock on people's doors and get piles of candy. A joy that can't be matched when you grow up and face the real world. Halloween is full of magic, and we need that in our world. Halloween is real, and we need it. I need it. Screams came from the audience as I was taken down to the ground by a guard. I hoped my message got out. I hoped this nightmare was over soon. I was dragged back to the building next door, back to what I assumed would be my only home for the foreseeable future. Even if it was short, I got my message out. We'll be on the news and we can tell my story and remember Halloween. Needed people to remember Halloween.
Good evening and welcome to KMYC Evening News. Today is Saturday, October 31st, and according to one of our escaped mental institution patients, today is Halloween. That's right, the high school that escaped the Applewood Institution for the Mentally Insane today and frightened a crowd at the opening of the library. One of our reporters was there, and she captured the whole thing. Not only this, but she reached out to the school for some additional information. While we are waiting on that information to be given to us, we thought we would continue on with this story. So what is Halloween, you ask? Well, apparently Halloween is a day to worship healing and monsters. A day where children go to strangers' houses and are rewarded by candy. Sound made up? That's because it is. No scary, spooky things here, folks. You can sleep peacefully tonight. Could you imagine a world in which Halloween is real? Well, sleep tight, everyone, and happy October 31st.
Thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. If you would like access to the interdimensional radio station, you can search for the Nightmare Trials on Patreon. Once there, it is only $2 per month to gain access to our extra short stories and chat discussion with the professor. Your contribution helps us continue to do what we do. Further, you can go to the nightmaretrials.square.site and order merch and suggest to be a part of one of our stories. We would love nothing more than to add your name to our writings. Lastly, make sure to follow the podcast and hit the notification button so you never miss an episode. Until we meet again.